Hey, what's up everybody? I got a 1999 Mercury Mystique right here. And let me just show you first of all. I think that pollen getting to me or something like that. Anyway, this is a 1999 Mercury Mystique. Basically it's kind of like a Ford Contour. But this has a 16 valve. It's a 4-cylinder, and it's a let's see if we can see up here. It takes 5W30, and it should 2.0 liter. If you see it, it's right there. 2.0 liter, right under the spark plug gap. So anyway, it's 2.0 liter. Inline 4-cylinder, and the customer complaint is rides like shit. It keeps cutting off. So let's crank it up and see what happens. And I see we got to check engine light. Okay. Oh, and just cut off. All right. So just happen to have the scan tool here, and we're gonna see what kind of codes. DTCs, we got 2. Let's read these codes. P1383, vehicles fire to find a map. Please enter to select. Okay. System 2 lane, bank 1. Okay, could be from okay, this is Ford, basically. Camshaft position timing over retarded, bank 1. Could be why I got a lane code also. Camshaft position timing over retarded. So we got a camshaft position timing. So basically, like, you know, it's saying the timing belt is out of time, and that's what this customer has requested. They have requested to have the timing belt done. So what we're gonna do is a timing belt, and they also have a camshaft position sensor, just in case they requested to replace it. So we'll go ahead and replace it, and let's get started. Okay, so technically the first thing you're supposed to do is disconnect the negative battery cable on this car, which is right here. Positive is red, negative is black. So anyways, you're supposed to disconnect that. When I say you're supposed to, what I'm thinking about is the crankshaft bolt. So what you need to do is take the tire off, of course jack up the vehicle, put it on the jack stand. I got it on the pinch wheel. And this bad boy right here, you got 2 10mm bolts here, 1, 2, and that will remove the shield right here, which just comes right out. And this in there, something like that. So all I just do is come over here, take them 2 10mm bolts out, and throw that to the side. Alright, that will expose the crankshaft. Also, you might have a undershield underneath the vehicle which needs to be removed. Also, this one, it was already moved. How nice. I put the 2 10s back, 10mm back, just because I like to keep things in order. This is an 18mm bolt. Luckily, it came off with my electric impact. That's the second crank bolt that I've broken with that electric snap-on impact. It's a 1/2-inch drive. It is badass. I love that thing. Alright, so that's an 18mm. I busted it up. It came loose. Of course, before I did that, I sprayed it the shit out of it with PB Blast. Let it soak in for a little while. Then I came and tried to break it loose, and I was successful. Thank you, Jesus. Alright, so I just tightened it back up. Next thing you want to do, okay, you can go about this in different ways. Here's your tensioner. So you're going to have to get the drive belt off eventually. This is a 13mm, and you need to rotate that clockwise, I believe. and it will release tension on the belt. Then you just pull it off from the bottom of the crank. This belt obviously needs replacement. You can see there are chunks. I mean, there's a chunk right there missing, chunk, and a chunk missing, and all along this belt there's just chunks. I mean, big chunks of belt just missing. When you see your belt looking like that, it's time to replace it. Also, just a note, but tie rod boots are busted on both sides, and so are the ball joint boots. Busted. Anyway, what was it? Oh yeah, okay, so once you got the belt off, well actually, okay, before you take the belt off, let me tell you this. You're gonna have to take the pulley off right here. This is the idler pulley, and then you got a water pump pulley right there, which looks like this. There are 3 10mm bolts. 1, 2, 3. You need to loosen these up. They're 10mm. This right here is a 13. When you take this off, there's a little washer on the back. You're gonna notice that this washer, if it does come off, this is flat on the outside. There is a groove on the inside of it. So on the inside, there's like a little groove missing, a circle, and that goes around the inside of that bolt. Let me show you in case. Now you see there's like a little spacer right there, and then there's a little indentation right here. The indentation goes in there, and it all goes together. See, I done took it apart for you. Now it don't want to go back together. Anyways, but yeah, it's supposed to go together like that. That's a 13. I would loosen these up. These 3 10s, which are right there. You can do it, you know, pretty easy from the bottom. So loosen those up, then take the belt off. Then take your 13mm bolt out. I raised the engine up a little bit, and to do that, this is an 18. This is an 18. Then you got a 15 and a 15 right here, and then there's another hole for a 15 right there. To get to that, you're gonna have to remove this coolant tank. So to do that, there's a 10mm right there, and there's another 10 right down there. Then you can move the coolant tank to the side and access that bolt right there. Once you got those bolts taken out, you can remove your engine mount, which is right here. There's the 1, 2, and 3 15mm, and then there's an 18 and an 18 nut right there, and that'll pull right off. You might have to loosen up this 8mm bolt right here on the engine eye, lifting eye, and this is holding your power steering pump fluid, power steering line. So just loosen that up, and that might help you access these 18s. So just get that out the way, take your pulleys off, and then you have to remove the bottom engine cover, this upper timing cover, and also valve cover. Then we can get to our timing belt. Alright, so that's what we've done so far. Moving along. Okay, I kind of just jumped around, and you want to disconnect this valve, the valve solenoid. Just squeeze the tab, push the tab right there, and it comes loose. These are all 8mm right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take out all those 8mm bolts, and then you can take off your cover, which is gonna look like that. That'll allow you to access your spark plugs. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also, after you break your crank bolt, you need to take off that bottom cover, and oh, holy shit, look what I found. Ball bearings. That ain't good. I wonder where that came from. But anyway, there's damn pollen. 1 and 2 8mm bolts. Take off your top cover. You got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's 3. And where's the 4th one at? Right down there. There it is. Right there. Yeah, get those 4. Loosen them up. Leave your cover on though. Down here you got 2 bolts. Looks like a 13 right there. Yep, there's your 13, and there's another one over here. There it is, right there. It's 13 millimeter, I think, or 15. Looks like a 13. Bust those 2 loose and take off your support bracket. I think I'm gonna hit those from the bottom. I might be able to get them. Yeah, I'll just put a socket on a wrench, break from up here, and that's what I'm gonna do next.
What's that?
This is a camera. What you got there, JJ? Is that a BFH?
Mm-hmm.
That's a hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about to fall.
Yeah, it's a big effing hammer right there. That's Thor's hammer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thor's hammer.
Toast hammer. Toast hammer.
Alright. So I got this I got the middle cover off and the top cover. The reason why you leave the top cover off after you take off the 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, is because you have to take off the middle cover first, which actually has 4 bolts also. There's a 13, there's a T50 hex bit that goes there, and then there's another bolt right there. As a matter of fact, here is that middle cover right here, and here's where the bolts are. So you got a 15, a 15, and this is a T50 hex Torx bit. I'm sorry, T50 Torx bit. But that's where they are located. Those four bolts right there. All right. So after you take off your middle, the middle cover, then you can take off your top cover. After that, what I did is I went ahead and took out the there's 8 millimeter bolts. There's 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7. Let's see, 7 timing cover bolts, and there is our timing cover right there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably maybe about 8 timing cover bolts. They're all 8 millimeters also, and I just set that to the side. The reason being is there is a hose right here, a little vacuum hose going to the back. You can disconnect that. There's a little clamp right here, and you can just disconnect that clamp, pull that hose off, but I mean it's going right back on. Just one less step just by leaving it on. Just flip it over, leave it to the side. Next thing that I did is put this 18 millimeter bolt on the crank, and then I just rotated this clockwise while I had this little balled up piece of tissue down in the #1 spark plug hole. And what I do is I just take a little piece of toilet paper, ball it up, and stick it down in that hole. And I just rotate it clockwise until the toilet paper will shoot out. You'll just hear it pop, and it'll come flying out. And then I'll put a screwdriver down in there, and then you'll know, and then I'll rotate it until I see that screwdriver go to its highest peak. And then when it's kind of like plateaus and maybe it'll start going down a little bit, then just turn it backwards, rotate it counterclockwise slightly until you know it's at top dead center. Another way that you can know that it's at top dead center, the crank, you should be able to look down here, and you'll see that there's a hex key at the top. There's a keyway up here at the top. That should be at 12 o'clock, which it approximately is right now. I might just have to turn it slightly a little bit. But anyways, you want that you want the piston at top dead center. Then over here on the cams, there are little grooves in the side. You'll see that there's a groove right here in the side right here, and also right here. And what I did right here is I stuck a file in that groove right there. There's actually a special tool that you use, which is basically a steel bar. It's 5.4 millimeters thick, and you stick it in that groove right there with the cam, and you stick it in this one. You see this one's off a little bit right here. It won't actually go into that groove because this side needs to raise up and this side needs to go down. I need to rotate this clockwise. Well, I need to rotate this clockwise from this direction. It needs to be rotated that way. You can do so by grabbing onto these hex, these little hex keyways right here. And so when I take the belt off, I'm gonna rotate that a little bit and get this file in here, which is going to be my special cam holding tool for right now. And just, you want both of these to line up horizontally. So that one's in there. This one, when I take that timing belt off, I'm gonna put this one in there. That way that'll be lined up. Next thing, you just got to have your crank at top dead center. Then you want to remove the timing belt by releasing tension on the tensioner, which is right there. And I'll show you about how to do that. So next thing we're going to do is take the timing belt off and get the new one back on. Also, what I found, those ball bearings came from this lower idler pulley, which is right here. That's your lower idler pulley, and that one is completely shot. That's gone. So we got this new lower idler pulley, which is this little puppy right here. So we're gonna put that one on right there, in place of the old one, because the old one, all the ball bearings just came out of this pulley assembly right here. So we're gonna put this one on and put our new timing belt on and put it all back together. Another thing is we're gonna be replacing the water pump. Here is our new one right here. And the water pump on this Mercury Mystique 1999 Mercury Mystique is located right here. I've already taken out the 8mm bolts. There's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, and one more right here at the bottom, which are basically right here. You can look at the new one and see where the bolts are. Right here, those 4 8mm. And what I've done is I've taken a pry bar, and there's like a little groove right here. I'll zoom in on it right there. See, there's like a little groove right here. But I just took the pry bar and pushed right there on that groove. And when you do that, you want to make sure you got a drain pan down here at the bottom to catch that coolant that's going to come out. And once you got it pried off, you're going to have a lot of coolant come out of there. So make sure you got something down there to catch it all. Otherwise, you're going to have coolant all on your driveway. It's probably easier to come out from the bottom. There it goes. But yeah, we're gonna be replacing the water pump also on this. Old one. It's a water pump, JJ. Yeah, it's the coolant coming out of the car. This is my nephew, JJ. Old one and the new one. And they look pretty much the same. Going, Ryan?
I'm about to, yeah.
Alright, man. Let's make sure we put our gaskets in there. There's a gasket right there. And this new one comes with gaskets. Alright. I'm gonna just let all that coolant drain out for a little while. Get all that stuff out of here. We'll blow all of that crap out of there too. All of that dirt and stuff down in the bottom. I'll blow all that out with some compressed air. Clean it up a little bit. Okay, I know I'm kind of jumping around here. Just kind of throwing this in. I also changed out this camshaft position sensor, which is located right here. There's a you have to press this button right here and pull off right there. So all you're doing is just pushing down right here on that tab. That'll pop off. There's an 8mm bolt down there on the bottom of it. If you can see it, it's right there. That is it. But if you look at the old one, it's positioned like that, and that 8mm bolt was actually right here on the bottom. This broke off right here. but that's where the 8mm bolt goes right there in the bottom of it. And to get to it, I had to move this exhaust shield. So there was a 10mm bolt here, and there was a 13 right here, because I had to move this exhaust shield back in order to get to that 8mm bolt. It was just too tight. I didn't have a 8mm swivel in a 1/4 inch, so I had to move that to get it in there. But anyways, next thing you want to do, this tensioner, is we're gonna have to get these plugs out. And these are T55, the biggest T that is available, I believe. Well, it's not the biggest. This is a T55. T55. So I'm holding this cam right here with a 24mm wrench. This one is a little bit bigger than 24. It's about 25, but I'm just using a adjustable wrench to hold that one. And while holding those wrenches, then you're going to break these plugs loose right here. Also, this right here, this is a 10mm right here. You want to unscrew this tensioner 4 turns. So you want to go 4 turns. Then there's a hex on the bottom. This is a 6mm hex. You want this to be at the 6 o'clock position, straight down. Then you have this tab back here in the back. You want that to be at the 4 o'clock position. So you want this tab right here. You can see that. This tab right here. It's kind of hard to see. Here it is. That tab right there. It moves up and down. But it needs to be at the 4 o'clock position. Approximately 4 o'clock. And there's a little timing mark down there. But this will be like at 3 o'clock. This one right here. Let me get a better light so you can see this. There's a hot so much. Okay, so you want that tab right there at 4 o'clock. That one right there at 4 o'clock. And then this one at 3, the one with the little, like a little C right there. It should be at 3. That one right there is at 4. The one that's kind of pointing backwards. And that hex key right there should be at 12 o'clock. And you want to rotate that clockwise. And that'll help you get the belt off, and that's where you want your timing adjustment to be as far as that tensioner is concerned. Alright, next thing we're going to do, I'm going to take out this lower idler pulley and put in our new lower idler pulley. And I believe that's a T50 Torx bit holding that in also. Let's see. Yeah, that's another Torx bit. I believe that's about a T50. Alright, we're going to put in our new idler pulley. Alright, I'm also installing this new lower idler pulley, which is where the ball bearings came out of, and that was located right in here. But that was that, this is a T50 Torx bit. The new one has a 15mm. Thank God. I hate these Torx bits. So this is the old lower idler pulley, and here's a new one. Put them next to each other, kind of make sure that they're about right. Well, I guess this is what's left of it. There's not really, I mean, all the ball bearings came out, and it's just really worn out. But these are the grooves where the ball bearings ride in right here. So the ball bearings ride in that groove right there. But that one's completely gone, completely destroyed. Anyways, let's go ahead and put this new one in. I'm also putting in that new water pump. I just put some RTV sealant maker right here. I'm just letting it dry up a little bit, and I'm gonna go ahead and put some lubrication, some coolant around here. Slide that back on. Go ahead and bolt it down. Okay, all right. So this is the point that we've got it to right now. I loosen these up. These are T55 Torx bits right here. You got 1, 2 right there. That one I've taken out, which is that right there. And that'll allow you to move your cams a little bit better. And you can see I got my file
is actually inside that groove right there. This light is a little too bright. But see, I got my shot file. It's inside that groove, the end of the cam, and so is that one right there. And that's how you know the cams are at basically your compression, or you know, this is where the timing. This is kind of like the timing mark on the cam. There is no timing mark on these cams, but this is how you know that you know, when you're at top dead center doing a timing belt, these cams should be straight across. You should be able to get a file in here. There's a cam tool, which is basically just a steel bar. Shot file to do the same thing. So I got my shot file in there. Is that my number one piston is at top dead center. You can also know this by looking at this keyway down here, right here at the top of the crank. Your harmonic balancer Woodruff key, or whatever you want to call it, right here is pointed straight up at 12 o'clock. You can kind of see it right there. Right there. But that should be straight up right there. That should be at 12 o'clock right there. Right there. So that should be pointed straight up. That'll let you know you're at 12 o'clock also, or top dead center on number one piston. So I've installed the new water pump. There it is, nice and all shiny. Put the 8mm bolts in, tighten down. Got our new lower idler pulley in there. This right here, like I said, you want to loosen this up to loosen this up 4 turns. This hex 6mm hex way down here at the bottom, that needs to be at 12 o'clock. This right here is your tensioner. This right here, if you basically move it backwards, it'll just kind of slide down into place. If you push it down, it'll go up. Basically, this is your tensioner. And this right here should just kind of slide down into the 4 o'clock position. Excuse me, it'll kind of do that on its own. Alright, now you're ready to put the new timing belt on. So you want to start down at the crank and work your way up in the clockwise position. Come up here, work your way around here, and then back down around. So let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, this is where it gets maybe a little complicated. Like I said, you want to have your crankshaft when you're installing the timing belt, you want to have your crank, the Woodruff key, which is that key at 12 o'clock. That needs to be at 12 o'clock, straight up and down. That little key right there. That's the Woodruff key. So, starting at the crank, if some 1999s, 96 up 99s have this lower idler pulley. The ones afterwards, some of them did not have that pulley, but that's where all the ball bearings came from. That's what got messed up. So this one has it. Anyways, start at the crank, go up, come around the upper idler pulley, work your way around the exhaust, and then the intake cam. Prior to doing this, you need to loosen up. Like I said, this is a T55 Torx bit right there, and this right here is an inverted Torx bit. However, if you don't have an inverted Torx bit, then you just use a 16mm socket, either a 12-point or a 6-point. I used a 6-point 16mm impact socket, and loosened it up with my impact gun, simply by moving this out of the way, turning it up, and then I was able to hit those. But make sure you hold on to the the hex way on the cam right here. This one I used a 24mm. This one I'm just using an adjustable wrench right there on the on the hex way right there. Just slide right over there. Anyhow, so once you got these loosened up, you'll be able to move the cams. You can move the cams without moving the cam shafts. So your cam shafts are going to be held in place on the back here with your file. So you can't move your cams because they're held in place right here by this file. So basically you just put that on, work it around. Then when you get down here, this is the complicated part. All right, that's a 10mm bolt right there. That is a 6mm hex key right there. And what you're gonna do is rotate that hex key counterclockwise. So you're gonna take, let's see, this is my setup right here. I have just a regular ratchet with a 6mm. I don't know if you can see that, 6mm hex key. Just stick it down in there. You rotate it counterclockwise, so this way, just like you're going to loosen up a bolt. And this will start to travel this way. As it does, there is this there's a notch down in there. You can see down in there. See there's a groove down in there, and you want to get this tab inside that hole right there. See how you can see that a little bit better. Gosh. Okay, yeah, there's that hole right there, and there's a tab. All right, what you want to do is rotate it counterclockwise until that tab gets in there. Then once you got the tab in there, keep rotating it counterclockwise down here, and you'll see this little keyway. Let me see. It's a little off right now, but that you see is like a little U shape. Should line up with this little, I don't know if you see that line right there in the middle. There's a line right there in the middle, and it should line up. So that line should go line up with this hole right here in the middle of this little U key, this little key right here. You want that line right there to line up with that hole right there. And once you have it lined up like that, then you tighten down your 10mm bolt right here. And that will have it in perfect timing. Next thing you want to do is rotate this crank counterclockwise 2 turns, 2 full rotations. After you take out your cam holding tool, in this case our file, and take off everything off your cams. Rotate it freely, 2 revolutions. Make sure it goes around one. Make sure it goes around this hex. This Woodruff key comes to the top 1 time, then around the 2nd time, that'll be at top dead center compression again. Check to make sure that, slide your tool back in, make sure that that still lines up. If it does not, you're gonna need to loosen these up right here, and then get your timing again, and tighten them back down, and get your timing adjusted again. Basically go through adjusting the timing belt, but that's how you do it right there. So I'm gonna double check it, rotate it twice, and if it's good, then we'll go ahead and put it all back together, just opposite of removal. But that's basically your biggest things. Once you get this on there, you just got to get this right here. So you got to get your tab inside that hole down there. Then, as you're doing it, this this right here, when you get down to about 7 o'clock, this tab is going to be going up. You want it to be going down. You want the tab to be moving clockwise. That little U joint should be moving clockwise. So it'll be moving. It'll move clockwise actually, or counterclockwise. It'll move counterclockwise, and then once you get to about here, it'll start moving counterclockwise. So this little U joint goes up and down. You want to get it on the downstroke when it's going clockwise to line up with that little line on the tab back there. So it will at approximately the 2 o'clock position. When it's here in the 2 o'clock position, that's when it'll be going down, and then it should line up with that key. So I'm going to rotate it, see how it does. Okay, so I rotated that crankshaft around 2 revolutions. So this came around to once, then twice. That would give this 1 full complete revolution, and this down here 2. So that's top dead center compression. And when I did the first time, I checked it by placing this file back in here, and you see it lines up now. But when I did it the first time, just a minute ago, this was not lined up. It was cocked up a little bit. So basically all I simply did was loosened up this right here with a 16 millimeter. Took my adjustable wrench, put it on this hex way, and I just moved it up until this would fit in here. When it lined up, just tighten that bolt back down. Vice versa, if this one is straight where it should be and this one's off, just loosen up that bolt. Move your cam with your wrench and then tighten the bolt back up. It's just that simple. So that's all you gotta do. Alright, so this right here is ready to be put back together. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting parts back together and see how it goes. Alright, what's up, y'all? Let me cut this off. Alright, everybody. I really kind of jumped ahead on y'all, but let me show you how I installed and put this back together. First thing, do the timing cover. Start from the inside out. Do the inside bolts first, and then work your way out and hit these right here. Go ahead and tighten those down. Put this middle cover in right here, this metal one, which is underneath this mountain, this engine mount, which are basically these two bolts right here and everything that connects to it. Go and get those 4 bolts lined up. Then make sure you got your gasket in here, put a little RTV on it, whatever you got to do. Put this on first. Alright, get it where it needs to be. Once it is, go ahead and tighten it down. Then go ahead and tighten down your center bracket. The reason being is these 2 bolts are gonna fight this cover right here when you're trying to put it on. So make sure you just leave this 8mm bolt loose right here. And when you connect it, don't forget to put this ground wire back on it also. Alright, so you got your middle bracket, top bracket, middle bracket, kind of at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You need to put this on the middle one on first, get it lined up, then slide this down in there with this being loose. Once you get it in place, tighten these 4 bolts on this, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then tighten the 4 bolts on the center bracket. One of them being a Torx bit in this case. Then you can put the bottom cover on. There's only 2 bolts on the bottom holding that in. They're all 8mm. Alright, after you got that on, going ahead and install your power steering pump, the pulley that goes on your power steering, your water pump. Go ahead and put that pulley on. Then you want to put on your idler pulley. There's just one 13mm holding that on. Then put on your crankshaft bolt, tighten it down good. Then get your belt routing. Then loosen up your tensioner, get everything on there. After that, I put this put your spark plugs in. As soon as you install the valve cover, go ahead and put your spark plugs in. Put your little NICs on them, whatever. Tighten them down. And you can put this cover on right here. Don't forget to put your valve solenoid, hook that up. Let's see, what else was it? That's about it. And don't forget to fill your coolant up, and then connect your negative battery terminal, and then crank it up and see what happens. Alright, now before I crank up the vehicle, I always like to rotate the crankshaft clockwise, just with a breaker bar or a ratchet, and just make sure that there's no binding, that the valves and the pistons aren't locking or binding up. Also, before you even put the timing cover on, I always rotate the crankshaft two times, 2 revolutions, and that'll rotate the cam 1 revolution, and basically you should be back where you started. And just double check, make sure all your timing marks line up and everything like that prior to cranking up the engine. And this one right here, we pulled some codes before it started, and the battery's gonna die too. But there was a P1380, a P1380, and which is a crankshaft position sensor, which actually indicates or points to diagnosing the valve solenoid, which is this right here. And I noticed we had some wiring issues right here, so I had to rewire these right here. And also P380, which is a camshaft position sensor. I also had to rewire this, and also down here these wires were touching each other, so I had to do some rewiring. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. We're gonna go ahead and jump this off right here and crank it up and everything. I already cranked it up and I know it runs good and everything, but I got rid of those codes because they had some circuit problems. But it's still, the car is still kind of running rough, and it's probably because this valve solenoid right here is all clogged up, and this is pretty common on these cars. If you let it sit for a while, or if you don't have oil pressure, this right here is a variable cam timing, your valve solenoid. And to remove this valve solenoid or replace it or clean it out, you're gonna have to remove the timing belt and both camshafts just to get that out. That's just on this particular model. Most cars, like on GMs, there's just a 10 millimeter bolt holding it in. You pop that out and this will come right out. This one right here is not that easy. And had I known that was like going to be an issue prior to doing this job, I would have went ahead and took out the cams and, you know, let that sit in some gasoline or something like that overnight. But anyways, as far as the timing belt goes, I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Have a good one. Peace.